Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a very interesting day in this country, politically speaking. Today, the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto is launching Kenya Kwanza manifesto at Kasarani Stadium right now. Professor Wajakoya of Roots Party is also launching his manifesto at KICC. And I did a video about that earlier in the morning. But tomorrow I'll do a comprehensive analysis about William Ruto's manifesto and probably Wajakoya's manifesto. And today, Azimio brigades were in Nyanza. There is a group which was in Migori, and Martha Karua led another group to Kisii. And the moment Martha Karua took to the podium in Kisii, someone threw tear gas at her. She could not address the gathering. So far, according to investigations, it is Simba Arati's security who threw that tear gas. And it's taking us to our subject for today. How Raila Odinga's strategy to beat Ruto is actually breaking Azimio. And if he's not careful, I'm just saying if he's not careful, he will live to regret. The truth of the matter is that Raila Odinga's chances of becoming the next president of the Republic of Kenya are so high. But there are several questions which Raila Odinga and his team are asking. Whether they should go as Azimio to help in consolidating the support, or whether some candidates should be asked to drop. Basically, zoning. Last week, there was a meeting somewhere in Nairobi. That meeting was supposed to be chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta. The president did not chair that meeting. Raila Odinga ended up chairing that meeting. In that meeting, it was agreed that the Azimio team should talk to weak candidates to drop in favor of strong candidates. But how do you identify weak candidates? Let's just face it. If you go to Siaya, for example, where there's James Orengo and where there is Engineer Nicholas Gubo, how do you identify the weak candidate there? So there was that talk. The truth of the matter is that that move has actually triggered a revolt. And it's putting Raila Odinga and his entire brigades, those who are keen on ensuring that he becomes the president, in a big dilemma and serious headache. For example, there are those who believe very strongly that Raila Odinga as a presidential candidate stands a better chance of high voter turnout if he left all other candidates to run. For example, if in Siaya, he would just let, for example, Gombo and Orengo to run, these guys will mop up the support. But there's a challenge in some areas. So that move has actually triggered revolt. And we saw Bahati Kenya doing whatever he did. And it's the same revolt that caused that tear gas in Kisii. The truth of the matter is that if, for example, Azimio were to sponsor candidates in some places, there is a high chance that they're going to split the votes. That's the truth. For the governor, for the MPs, and the rest. And that will work to the advantage of William Samoei Ruto. Because William Ruto managed to deal with that long time ago. For example, in Kakamega, He dealt with it in Nairobi. He sorted out Sakaja and Margaret Wanjiro. You know, other places he managed. The only place he did not deal with is Kiambu. But of course, he's also facing a similar challenge in terms of, in places like in Mount Kenya region. So they're likely to split the votes. So let's say, for example, the case of Kajiado. Kajiado has Jubilee candidate in the name of David Nkedienya, who was formerly the ODM governor for the region. He's very strong and enjoys the support of ODM party. And that's the strange thing. He was in ODM, went to Jubilee. Then the ODM team is currently supporting him. That's why it's people like Memusi Kanchori are. Then there is Olelenko. Olelenko is the current governor, also very strong, but now running in ODM. The two gentlemen are very strong. If they were just to support one of them, they'll be assured of that seat. But because both of them are running, it's going to advantage Metitu Olemeto, who is the UDA candidate. So as much as Raila might get his votes, if these guys will mop up the region, he will not have a governor. That's the truth. You go to Busia, there is Polo Tuoma, and then there is Moses Mulomi. Moses Mulomi is the independent candidate. And you know, the current governor, Sospito Jamong, who comes from Teso, has a lot of influence in Teso, is supporting his deputy, who is Moses Mulomi. There's a chance that these guys can actually split the votes based on the arithmetics in Busia. If they split the votes, the UDA candidate might actually take that seat. It's the same story to a place like Madare, where there's Bahati Kenya and Oluwa Chantoni, good friend of mine. Bahati Kenya is enjoying the support of the youths. And being born and bred in the area has that support. Andrew Neluach is the current member of parliament. If these guys were to share Azimio votes, what do you think is going to happen? And that's the biggest fear. You go to Sia, you go to Migori, I'm told John Pesa is doing so well on the ground, and then Zochila Yako is also doing so well in terms of support. If the two were to split the votes, what do you think is going to happen? Places like Kirinyaga, I'm told in Nyeri, for example, there is Nyokabi, who is running for the Senate. Then there's Kabando Kambado, who is also running for the Senate. Very strong individuals with the track records. So if these gentlemen were to run, then they'll split the votes. To who is going to benefit? William Ruto. But again, if they were told not to run as a pair, not to run using those various parties, what is going to happen is that they have their supporters who are likely to revolt. And these supporters might not wake up to go and vote. Or they might even protest and vote against Raila Odinga. That's the challenge. And I like giving people the example of Siaya. For example, if you go to Siaya, where Orengo is strong, Gombo is strong. If you go and frustrate Gombo, for example, because Raila Odinga will be on the ground tomorrow, and his supporters will say, okay, Raila amekuja hapa, the way we are seeing the ground, there is no chance for Gombo. So what will they do? They will either go to vote to punish Raila Odinga, or they will just sit at home, knowing so well that their guy is going to lose. But if they were to be allowed to contest, all of them, then they'll go up to the ballot, because all of them are in Azimio. Raila at some point was very clear that they are not going to deal with independent candidates. And I remember yesterday, John Mbadi was like, okay, we are likely to allow these people just to contest, because if you have ODM party and ODM ticket and you come from Nyanza, you should have advantage. But the fear is real. The fear of parliamentary majority. So in this video, I want us to try and look at the issues at hand. What are the issues? Because that's the most important question. But before you do that, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue to thank you guys for your continued support, because without the support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us look at the issues. What are some of the issues? The first issue is that all these political parties forming Azimio, there are 26 in numbers. In number, all of them are targeting political parties' funds. So it's going to be very difficult to convince a party that they should not sponsor a candidate while they're seeing a chance. Do you think Jubilee can easily accept to withdraw their candidate for Mathare, Bahati Kenya, from the race while they are seeing chance that he can actually win? Do you think the UDP, is it UDP or UDM, the party Gumbo is using in Siaya, can easily agree just to withdraw Gumbo? While Gumbo is now actually selling the party on the ground, and we believe that Gumbo has a chance. The moment Gumbo will win that particular, gubernatorial seat, it's going to be to their advantage. So because most of these parties, even Raila Odinga is keen on political parties' funds, which will be determined by the number of members of parliament, by the number of governors and senators. Because most of these parties are keen on political parties' funds, I don't see them agreeing to step down. So that's the first issue. The second issue is the impeachment of the president. There's serious discussions that Raila Odinga might actually win, but may not have the majority. And the way these guys know Ruto, they believe that if Ruto has the majority control in parliament, then he can even initiate impeachment against Raila Odinga. He could not impeach Uhuru, because impeaching Uhuru would have meant different thing. It would have meant losing the mountain, and the mountain would not have allowed him to do that. But for Raila Odinga and William Ruto, the way he's using his money, he can buy everybody, most of these members of parliament. And that is the biggest issue. So those who support Raila Odinga believes very strongly that they should be able to protect Raila Odinga in one way or the other by ensuring that we take the risk of losing losing some few votes, but have members of parliament in parliament. The third issue, which is also stopping Raila Odinga and his brigades from achieving this, is actually the promise of government jobs and appointments. Most of these people are told, we are going to give you we are going to appoint you to government positions or diplomatic appointments. But what is the surety that Raila Odinga is going to be the next president? So those are some of the issues which are derailing those moves. And because most of these people fear, you are seeing, I've dealt with politicians, I've advised them. Sometimes it's very difficult to tell politicians the truth, that you see, the way I'm looking at this thing, you are at 30%. Most of them would always believe that they are ahead. Because when they go to the village, when they meet some in a team of them, some of their core members will always tell them, okay, you are winning. Because that's what most politicians want. They want you to tell them what they want to hear. So when you tell them that the ground is not right, they will not. So most of these people believe that the ground favors them. And telling them to drop for a position they don't see, most of them will not accept. The other issue number 4 is actually the botched nominations, especially in ODM party. ODM party conducted nominations, and there's an outcry that nomination exercise was actually botched. And because of that, majority feels that they're going to vote for Raila. But they're going to vote a member of parliament of their choice, they're going to vote for senate of their choice, women rep for their choice. Basically, it's happening in almost all Raila Odinga strongholds of the coast, western, and Nyanza. So if ODM had conducted nomination, which most people would have been satisfied with, they would not be having this particular issue. Like, for example, in Kisii. In Kisii, there is Ongwai, there's Arati, then there is the Mzee Ongeri. Ongeri is enjoying the support of Ongwai. So that's another issue. The other issue is actually the voter turnout. Should the focus be on Raila Odinga winning the presidency? Or should our focus as Azimio, that's what they're asking themselves, should our focus as Azimio be on winning the majority? And most of those who are supporting Raila Odinga believes that their focus as Azimio should not be just winning the presidency. It should also controlling parliament. Because there's several issues, which takes us to our last issue, which is parliamentary agenda. The truth of the matter is that in this election, it's not just an ordinary election. This election has some elements of 2027 general election. So it's going to determine. And remember, Uhuru Kenyatta is still keen on BBI. Raila Odinga is still keen on BBI. So how will they manage to pursue their parliamentary agenda, legislative agenda, the BBI agenda, if they want to get the numbers at the Senate, at the county assembly, and its parliament? I don't know what you think, but for me, this strategy by Raila Odinga, if not well managed, is likely to break the Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya apart. Thank you guys. Let me go and watch William Ruto and his team launching their manifesto. Bye-bye.